morning from NR Private Markets. Rich Lloyd. Rich, morning. Good to catch up.
Morning, Andrew. How are you?
Doing good, Rich. Thank you. Look, as far as the recent or the last couple of months, has that presented NR Private Market with much in the way of opportunity? Give us an update.
Yeah, we're busier than ever, which is great. I know people are going through hard times, but I think the realization is setting in that the way forward, or the only way forward at the moment, is sort of online conferences, proactive interviews with yourself, and raising money on platforms, as well as still trying to tap into the more standard ways. But there's a lot more private placements going on. There are a number of reverse inquiries direct to companies, so they're being offered money from family office and they're taking it. Obviously, the commodity price, and in precious metals, the commodity prices are helping. Some companies that are accepting the money straight away, we're busy than ever. We had a record June and a record July as well. So it's been a long journey, but we're getting there. It's good. It's bearing fruit.
I suppose as far as some of the challenges when it comes to COVID, apart from the obvious, difficulty getting on site for due diligence. I mean, how are these companies handling that?
Yeah, absolutely. Speaking to a couple of the funds, so we always had the idea where we'd have this sort of incubator model for grown-up financing, if you like, and that's starting to happen with a couple of the deals that we've got. And there's a lot of due diligence to be done if you're going to do project finance, especially a fully structured deal over, whether it be 5 years or a full life of mine. So a lot of DD needs to be done, and I think we're getting to the situation where there's a big log jam of deals, and there's deals that are under stress as well. So extra DD needs to be done on those. What's going wrong? How can we help in terms of the funders? So I think technology, not just platforms and online activity, but it's things like drone technology that can do virtual due diligence, and almost the military scale use of satellite technology, etc., to analyze what licenses and what's going on in certainly the CSR side, the environmental side, the vegetation changes over time. A lot of that can be done remotely, and I think people are starting to rely on that. And we've done a webinar on how technology is helping, not only from our own perspective, but also those two areas I've mentioned. I think that's also the future, and people they're going to have to embrace it.
And you've recently closed, as you say, on two deals here, Element 46, Sonoro Metals. Tell us more about these.
Yeah, probably two opposite ends of the spectrum. As you know, we vet the deals that come onto the platform. There's a lot of companies are asking us for assistance, whether it be in the lounge, which is more sort of upping the profile, or direct raises. Sonoro initially were going for a decent sized raise in Canada. They had some approaches, some reverse inquiries, and their raise grew and grew and grew and ended up at 8 million Canadian. Now, obviously, we helped them in the lounge with the marketing and all the rest of it. We identified their project in Mexico as a great deal, and a great project. And I don't think the awareness had quite been there. And then awareness picked up in Canada. There's a couple of well-read analysts that are independent that started picking up the story, and it grew from there. So we were a very, very, very small part of that story, but that it's heartening to see that sort of deal grow, and their share price is obviously very, very healthy at the moment as well. Element 46 is an exploration play up in Scandinavia, and that's platinum group elements, so platinum, palladium, rhodium, that sort of suite. And that was a small raise, but we were the only sort of broker, if you like, involved in that one. So we're getting to the stage now where we're doing 100% of deals, and indeed the next deal that's coming on, which is a rare earths deal, which people can see on the platform, which is Altona Energy, which is a sort of reinvention of that company. Again, we'll be doing 100% of that deal. So that's changed since we first spoke, where we were looking to co-participate in deals and maybe top up and do 10-20% of a deal, but now we're looking at the opportunity of being able to do 100% of deals, which is fantastic.
So what does this bring the tally to now? You must have done a good 7 or 8 up till now.
Spot on. 7 deals, all over the place. Our first deal was Kincora, they've come back and done other raises. Cobra Resources was the relisting on the London Stock Exchange. 3 Canadian deals. So it's spreading around. It's that the global outlet, the platform with sort of global reaches is really starting to work. And we're also encouraging, or we're now attracting rather, family office and high net worth from all over the place. We've got Korean investors now. We've got some coming out of Hong Kong and Singapore, which those are quite hard to tap into. I think with Element 46, we've seen some Scandinavian interest. So it's certainly growing, and there's still a lot of word of mouth with it. But each time people see a successful deal, the word spreads, and also the discrete nature of both the investor side. So that they remain. It's totally confidential. You've got the GDPR side of things, etc. So their family offices are very, very cautious and aware that they want to keep the source of the money out of the main market. Obviously, we still need to do the AML and KYC checks, but they're seeing this as a very discreet way of investing without the world knowing what they're up to, which is one of the main drivers behind a lot of the family office investments.
And so, Rich, what else is happening then in our private market? You mentioned a bit earlier about the investor lounge. You're seeing some good traction there, are you?
Yeah, companies are, just either increasing their profile or the awareness of what they're going up to. We've had the metals in there for 6 to 7 months now. It's a big Canadian company. It's base metals version of B2, which originally was Beamer, if we can go back that far. And they see real benefit in that sort of lounge scenario to just keep further awareness and outside of the sort of standard Canadian market. We've been doing a couple of webinars as well, more the instructive, it's like the technology question you asked. We did a webinar on that, and it's more a fireside chat. We've got a couple of the funds involved, a couple of decent investors and a mining company, and say, right, how do you deal with this? Rather than the proactive interview or what a lot of companies are doing, 5 companies all showcasing their wares or their project. Well, others are doing that. We wanted to make it a little bit more informative so that people come onto the platform and can actually understand the issues that are challenging either the funders or the investors or the mining companies themselves.
Good to get an update. Rich, nice to see you this morning. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Andrew. Take care.